Lesson 60, Special Products of Binomials. So on this first slide, it's just wanting you to do a little exploration. So I'm going to help you get through the first two of these, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. Or I'll have to skip some, so I have plenty of room. So I'll help you with two of these, and then I want you to do the rest on your own for extra practice. Okay, so on the first one, I want you to remember that whenever we're squaring a quantity, we can't just distribute this because it's not being multiplied. Because of this addition sign, we actually have to write it out as this quantity of 2t plus 2 times itself. Now when you have something like this, you should be thinking that you need to FOIL. Remember that FOIL means first, outside, inside, last. So first is going to be the first one times the first one. So I have 2t times 2t plus the outside, which is going to be 2t times 2, plus the inside, which is 2t times 2, or 2 times 2t, plus the last, which is 2 times 2. So I have 2t times 2t, which gives me 2t squared, plus 2t times 2 gives me 4t, plus 2 times 2t gives me 4t, plus 2 times 2 gives me 4. Now I have like terms. Okay, so I have 2t squared. Whoops, it should not be a 2, that should be a 4. Catch me on that. I hope that you saw that and you thought, Mrs. Dotson, you're losing your mind. 4t squared plus 4t plus 4t gives me 8t plus 4. Okay, so this is my final answer for this. Now I want you to look at this and think about how could I have gotten this answer, okay, without having done all this FOILing, because that's what we're talking about, special product binomials, where you have, in a sense, a formula to get to that final answer. So looking at this, think about how we could have gotten this answer without actually doing the FOILing. Alright, the next one that we're going to do is going to be this one. Same situation here. I'm not multiplying, so I can't distribute that 2. I have to actually write it out as 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. So we're going to go first, which is going to be 2x times 2x outside, which is going to be plus 2x times negative 3, plus inside, which is negative 3 times 2x, plus the last, which is negative 3 times a negative 3. So 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared, plus 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x, plus negative 3 times 2x, negative 6x, plus negative 3 times negative 3 gives me a positive 9. So I'm going to get rid of these double signs. You don't ever want to show those. So I have 4x squared. Opposite signs gives me a negative. Opposite signs gives me a negative. So now I need to combine like terms. So I have negative 6x and negative 6x, which gives me negative 12x, and everything else comes straight down. Okay, now, once again, I want you to look at this and this one that we did and think about how you could have gotten from here to here without doing all of this. Okay? Oh, no, go back. Okay, I want you to complete these others on your own. I should see these, each of these, foiled out in your notes. Okay, make sure you have all of them. Alright, special products. If I have a plus b squared, the quantity of a plus b, and I'm squaring it, I could have also just taken a and squared it, plus 2 times a times b, plus b and squared it. That is the same answer as if I FOIL it out. And I'm going to go back here. I have 2t plus 2. And that was being squared. And if you remember, our answer was 4t squared plus 8t plus 4. Okay? So if I take a and I square it, a is this 2t. So 2t squared gives me 4t squared. Then I'm going to take 2 times a times b. So 2 times 2t is 4t times 2 is 8t plus b squared. Well, b is right here. So 2 and square it, I get 4. Okay? The same holds true with that subtraction, which was the other one that we did. We had 2x minus 3. It was being squared. The only difference here is this negative sign changes this sign to negative. Otherwise, they are exactly the same. Okay? So if I have a and I square it, that would be 2x squared, which would be 4x squared. My sign is going to be a negative because this sign is a negative. 2 times a, which is going to be 4x, times 3, which is going to be 12x, plus b squared, which is 3, or negative 3, and that gets me a positive 9, which is the same answer I got over there. Now this one, we didn't do one of these together, but you should have done one on your own. And let's go back and see what that one was. Oh, it's just the actual problem. Okay. So on this one, you're just taking a squared minus b squared. This is a difference of 2 squares. So all you had was a, you squared it, and then since they're opposite signs, we have a negative, b, and we squared it. So if I had, I don't want an equal sign, if I had used, let's say, 3x plus 4, and it was times 3x minus 4, okay, and then I have 3x, and I'm going to square it for my a, so 3x squared, I'll write that here. Whoops, I put that the wrong way. I don't want the square there. I want the square here. 3x squared minus b, which is 4, squared. So 3x squared, I can take that 2 to everything. So 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared, minus 4 squared, which is 16. Now here's what I'm going to tell you about this. These are things that just make our lives a little simpler. It's a little bit faster of a process. If you cannot remember these special products, then by all means, please, please, please continue to FOIL it out. I am much more concerned with you remembering the FOILing process and knowing how to get that trinomial than I am with you remembering little tricks, okay? So if you can't remember these, that's fine. You FOIL it, you will get the same answer as long as you don't make a mistake. Okay, so on this one, they want us to find the product. So instead of FOILing all this out, this is the one that I have with the plus. Okay, so that means that I would have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Well, a is x, so I'm going to put x, square it, plus 2. Instead of a, I'll put x. Instead of b, I'll put 3. Plus b, which is 3. And square it. So x squared, whoops, I should have put it in parentheses. X squared is x squared plus 2 times x is 2x times 3 is 6x plus 3 squared, which is 9. Final answer. Same thing here. I have the exact same formula, that a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, a squared is going to be that 3x. I'm going to take 3x and I'm going to square it. Plus 2, instead of a, I'm going to put 3x times 5, which is my b, plus my 5, which is b, squared. So this squared is going to go to everything. 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared, plus this gets me 6x, times this 5, which is going to get me 30x, plus 25 squared, or not 25 squared, 5 squared, which is 25. Final answer. This one is very similar to the last, except for we have this minus sign, which means that I'm going to have a squared. Instead of having a plus here, I'm going to have minus 2ab plus b. squared. So a, I'm going to put x, I'm going to square it, minus 2, instead of a, I'm going to put x, instead of b, I'm going to put 4, plus 4 instead of b, and I square it. So x squared is x squared, minus 2x, 2 times x is 2x, times 4 is 8x, plus 4 squared, which is 16. Final answer. Okay, this one is just like A and B from the last one. I want you to do it on your own paper. So pause the video, do it on your own paper, please. So this one, we have the formula a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So instead of a, I'm going to put 3x, square it, plus 2 times 3x times 2 plus 2, oh, I put 2 there. Should have been 3. 3 is our b, okay? I don't know why I put 2. 3 here, and square it. So 3x squared, distribute that square, I have 3 squared, which is 9, x squared, which is x squared, plus this gets me 6x times 3 would get me 18x, plus 3 squared, which is 9. Final answer. This one is my difference of two squares, so I have a squared minus b squared. Okay, I can tell that that's what it is because I have plus and minus, and it's the same a and b. So a is x, and I'm going to square it, minus b, which is 9, and I'm going to square it. So x squared is x squared, minus 9 squared, which is 81. Same thing on this one. I'm dealing with the formula a squared minus b squared. So my a is 6x. I'm going to square it, minus my b, which is 4. And I'm going to square it, so I'm going to distribute that 2 to everything. 6 squared is 36. X squared is x squared. Minus 4 squared, which is 16. I'm getting tongue-tied, sorry. Final answer. This one says, Marcus built a 6-foot deck around his square house. A side of his house is 7x feet. Find the area of Marcus's house including his deck. I would absolutely, every time I have a problem that talks about shapes and lengths, I always draw a picture and label it, because if you don't, you're very likely to make a mistake. So he built a 6-foot deck around his square house. So we know his house is a square. And around his house is a 6-foot deck. Okay, so I know that this distance is 6 feet, and I know that this distance is 6 feet, this distance is 6 feet, and this distance is 6 feet. I also know that a side of his house is 7x feet. 7x feet here, 7x feet here. That's talking about this distance and this distance. But I want to know the area of Marcus's house including the deck. So I want to know this distance and this distance so that I can find the area. So what you need to remember is that from here to here is 6 feet, from here over to here is 7x, and from here to here is another 6 feet. So I'm going to have 6 feet plus 7x feet plus 6 feet. Well, that distance is going to give me 7x plus 12. Okay? Since we know it's a square, this distance is also 7x plus 12. I want you to, on your own paper, find the area of Marcus's house with the deck on your own paper. Make sure that you've taken good notes, and I'll see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.